Hey everybody, Viking Sean here. Got a couple of new knives that came in, a couple of Emersons. These are my first Emerson knives. Today I thought I'd show you the Emerson CQC-8. Tactical folding knife, I would say. And I hope you enjoy the video. Alright guys, so let me start off by saying I'm not a huge Emerson collector. I don't know everything about Emerson knives, and I only just recently got my first two. So take that for what it's worth, and if you don't agree with my opinions, or if you know more about Emerson knives, then I totally acknowledge that. And you know, these are just kind of my thoughts on these two knives that I just picked up about a month ago for each. Got the CQC8 with the stonewashed finish, plain edge. And you've got the CQC7V with this desert tan scale, and this is the V grind Tanto. Okay, so today I'm going to be talking about the CQC8. I picked this knife up around the middle of December. It's now about the end of January, so I've had it for about 6 weeks or so. My first Emerson ever. And I gotta tell you, I really do like this knife a lot more than I thought I would actually. And the only reason why I kind of had expectations that I wouldn't like it is just because, you know, in general, I kind of like sort of the fancier finishes and kind of the more blinged out, you know, frame lock knives with the most cutting edge steel and all that kind of good stuff. But the bottom line is that's not really what this knife is all about. And in general, you know, when you're talking about the production Emersons, I don't think that's what really you're talking about with those overall. This is really a purpose-built knife, and everything about it was designed with basically a single purpose in mind. And that is basically, from my understanding, that these knives could be issued to basically soldiers who are overseas and that are in harsh conditions and need to use these for everything that they might need to use these for, be it a backup weapon or a tool to do whatever tasks that they need to do. But, you know, it has to be reliable, has to be robust, and it needs to basically be easy to use and easy to service. So, a couple things about that. First of all, the finishes. You have a G10 peel ply texture handle scales, and it's a nice grippy texture. Definitely helps with the traction. You've got a backspacer, which is either G10 or maybe some other kind of composite material. Not really sure. You've got a titanium lock side, liner lock, and steel on the other liner. Plain pocket clip here, set up for tip-up carry, and that is important because of the wave feature, which I'll get to in a minute. And you've got a couple of different things here. You've got your pivot pin is a single slot style for your flat standard screwdriver, or, you know, in a pinch you could even maybe use a dime, or, you know, I'm not sure what other kind of currency fits into that, but some kind of a coin or other flat surface. And then you've got a thumb disc here for deployment, and this little hook is the wave function that Ernest Emerson developed. And I'm sure you've seen videos about that. I'm not really going to demonstrate it because I just think that it's been done. You can kind of look up the wave function Emerson. I'm sure you can find something, but essentially when this knife is in your pocket, okay, and you go to pull it out, this hook is going to grab your pocket and it's going to start and fully deploy that knife as you're pulling it out. So by the time you got it out, you're holding on to a fully deployed knife, which it works really well and it's super fast. Your blade on this is going to be 154 cm, which is a fine stainless steel. It's not the most advanced steel that you've heard about recently, but, you know, it sharpens well and it holds an edge fine, and basically, you know, it's been tested, and that's the steel that you're going to get on any production Emerson. Actually, even the customs, I'm pretty sure that they use the same steel. You've got decent thickness on the blade. It's about 3 millimeters, I believe. And the CQC8 has almost a 4-inch blade. I think it's about 3.9 inches. So this one has plenty of reach. It's a really good size. So that's the knife in general. You know, the ergonomics are one of the things that makes the CQC8 such a great option, because you can just see how, you know, your hand just wraps around that handle. There's plenty of handle. It's you know, a little bit longer handle, which I like, and you've got this great choil right here that just locks you in addition to this little ramp where your thumb on the jimping. Yeah, that's just a really strong grip that you've got on this knife. And reverse grip is just as nice. You know, just great place to put your thumb there. Everything just works great. So, you know, that's one of the biggest features about this knife. You know, it's pretty smooth right now. I did take this knife apart and cleaned up everything. Put a little bit of my CRK lubricating grease in there, which is my preferred lubricant for knives there. But yeah, it's decently smooth, and it's a little off-centered, but it's not rubbing. It's, you know, it's okay. I might be able to fix that. You know, I didn't really look. Maybe it was like that before I took it apart. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I need to kind of tweak the handle scales a little bit there to try to center it a little bit better, but it really doesn't bother me. So some of the things that you've probably heard about Emerson's, you're going to have some machining marks. You can kind of see the liners where you can see those little ridges that are still there. It's, you know, by no means is it polished or anything, but, you know, like I said, that's not the point of this knife. If you know, polishing those liners isn't going to help with the use of this knife in any way. And it really looks fine. I guess I'll show you the lockup here. It is a liner lock. This one has a nice lockup, you know, relatively early, but not like crazy scary early. And there's no stick. You're not really going to probably be able to flick these. I guess, you know, this one's getting broke in, so it's alright, but, you know, it's not the most flickable knife to open. But like I said, with that wave function, that's going to be the fastest deployment option available for basically any knife, is just using that wave function to deploy the knife. So I thought I'd give you some comparisons with other knives. Here are some other roughly 4-inch knives that kind of fit the same category. Here's my Benchmade AFCK. This is an awesome knife. Kind of has the same finger choil here and roughly the same handle length. So I think it's a good comparison with the CQC8. They're both basically about the same handle length and blade length. Definitely, as far as just slicing ability, I would have to give it to the Benchmade AFCK. I think it slices a little bit better. One thing about the Emerson, it is a V grind, but the micro bevel, the secondary edge here, not the micro bevel, the secondary edge is only on the one side. It's not on this side. So that's just something interesting. Even though it is a V grind, the edge is only sharpened on one side. Here's another knife that has a chisel grind, actually. This is my Microtech SOCOM Elite. This has a chisel grind. Really cool. And it's also about a 4-inch blade length. Nice long handle, so you can see the similarities there. I think that overall this design is what you kind of are looking for in a purpose-built kind of fighting knife. You want a little bit longer handle so you have plenty to hold on to and plenty of reach, and then a nice long blade, of course. Here's one more. This is my Almar Sear 2000. It's a little shorter. I think this has a 3.5 inch blade, so you can see the blade length is a little bit different, but still kind of a similar handle style in a way. This one has a little bit less of a choil. Okay, here's just a few more knives to give you a comparison. Here's the CQC7V. It's a much shorter blade and a very different style there. Also have my Strider SNG for comparison. Here's the old Chris Reeve Umnumzon. So yeah, the CQC8 is a larger knife, absolutely. And here's the Rick Hinder XM24. Very similar overall length. So my final thoughts on the Emerson CQC8. It has definitely grown on me, and I'd say that I'm definitely a fan of Emerson knives. I believe that, you know, they are built for a purpose. They're built to be used hard. They're built for extreme conditions. I really think that's the case. I mean, that's why you have more attention paid to the construction of the knife, you know, and the materials that are going to hold up, and less attention paid to, you know, polishing these liners or, you know, a fancy pocket clip or something. That pocket clip, you can see like it has some marks where clearly, you know, it's just kind of thrown in a bin with a bunch of other stuff, probably pocket clips obviously, but you know, it's got some scratches on it. There you go, straight from the factory. That's really more from how it came originally than anything that I've done. So, and you know, that's just an Emerson basically. You don't have to like it. You know, I wasn't always a huge fan of Emerson. It wasn't my first thing that I went to as a collector. Obviously, I've been collecting for a while, and I have a lot of other knives, and I just recently came around to these. So, you know, I think that it is definitely worth picking up. I'd say the CQC8 is a great one to start with. It's just cool to have an Emerson to check it out and see what it's all about. And I think that you'll just find that it's super, super strongly built, really good quality. You know, it does have a nice stonewash finish. The blade is nicely ground. It is sharp. You know, I don't know if a chisel grind is necessarily my favorite type of edge. I think it cuts okay, but I don't know. I don't have any scientific data to say that one's better than the other, but I'm a little bit more used to a conventional V edge on my knives. You know, the ergonomics, and I'd like to try some other Emersons because, you know, I've heard that they're, you know, like the Roadhouse is another one that's good. A lot of good handle shapes for Emerson knives, and they feel really strong in your hand. Definitely got a good grip, and very ergonomic. And the wave function is just, you know, it's pretty cool. It definitely works well. So if you're interested in an Emerson, I might recommend that you check out the CQC8. And if you haven't kind of, you know, looked into it, take a look at the customs. They're kind of hard to get. They're pretty expensive, but if you want to see, you know, what they can really do if they focus on the aesthetics of the knife, make a nice, you know, fancy knife. You know, Emerson is perfectly capable of that as well, and you know, his bolstered customs are, you know, just awesome. I'd love to pick one of those up at some point, but you know, for now, this is an awesome user. It does carry well, and I do enjoy it. So thanks so much for watching, and feel free to leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Like I said, I'm no expert on Emerson, but you know, I hope you enjoyed the video and my take on the CQC8. So see you on the next video. Take care. Adios.